And here we go, a new player here in the starting lineup tonight for the Howland Tigers, the senior Lincoln Thomas, number 30, a key varsity reserve, coming in off the floor on occasions throughout the course of this season, but getting a huge start tonight on senior night nonetheless. And he is pumped up. The whole team is pumped up. Getting a pep talk from Coach Dan Boubon at center court, but here we go with the game. The Howland Tigers control the opening tip as it's number 4, Alex Henry, the senior point guard, taking charge. Setting the screen here on Landon Moore, and now the drive. They kick it out. This is the fake by TJ Douglas. Good flip out. Here's the 3 from Alex Henry. Bounces off a little too strong. Rebound by Dylan Turvey as the Raiders have their first offensive possession. Now it's Moore. Landon Moore, number 15, taking it to number 4, Nate Lewis. A huge bulk of the South Range Raiders returning from last year's district runner-up team. Here comes Lewis again. And now the bounce pass to Turvey. That was swatted away by John Perry. The senior gets the steal for the Tigers, and that was Henry losing the basketball and taken by Singleton. That was number 5, Matt Singleton. That was a tip by Lincoln Thomas. And here comes a 3 ball from Dylan Turvey. Bounces off, trying to save it in play, but he won't get there fast enough. It was way too out of his reach. A turnover, you can say, if you can say that, on South Range. Just a minute gone by here into this contest, and still no score. Both teams trading 2 possessions. This is now the 3rd possession for the Tigers, as it's the pass here to the low block. That is John Perry. Gets a hard-earned layup, and Perry with the game's first points. John Perry just really doing the dirty work down low again, and the Tigers strike first blood. Now the pass here. Landon Moore puts it up from about 17. That's off, and a rebound by Perry. Now Henry taking it for the Tigers, passes it to Thomas. He takes a 3 ball, and that bounces off. In pregame, he was going hot, but he misses that 3-point shot. Did have the distance, but here come the Raiders from South Range. Now Luke Rohan takes a 3 and misses it, and a rebound again by Perry. Perry working hard underneath and around, and now he steps back. That is Henry for 3, and that's an air ball. An air ball here by Henry as it's out of bounds, and the Raiders will take possession. 2 minutes gone by here in this opening quarter. Just 2 points to account for. Those belong to the Tigers. Here comes number 30, Lincoln Thomas. He gets fouled on the steal, and Thomas sending himself to the foul line, trying to score big time for the Tigers. That will be the first foul on number 12, Dylan Turvey. But Lincoln Thomas puts it up, bounces off. And here in this sequence, he's hoping to just get at least 1 point. And he does. That is Lincoln Thomas coming in and playing hard for the Tigers. They're up 3-0 on top of the South Range Raiders. Nate Lewis pass here to Moore. Moore trying to hold on to it, almost a steal, but bailout here by Turvey. And takes a 3. That is Lewis. He drains it, and we're knotted up at 3. South Range on the board, thanks to Lewis's drain from downtown. And the Tigers looking to go back on top on this possession. It's Thomas to pass here to high post. And drawing the foul is John Perry. Looks like Dylan Turvey going to be called with the push. That's already his 2nd foul in the first 3 minutes of action. And what's important here for first-year coach Patrick Carden, just trying to get his best players, keep them out of foul trouble. Already 2 here by Dylan Turvey. Now the Tigers' foul was on the floor, so they get it back on offense. This is Perry trying to drive, puts it up and gets it in. That is John Perry with 4 points, and the Tigers are on top 5-3. Matt Singleton, number 5, gets the pass off. Now he kicks it out. Back here to Singleton at the right wing. He decides to take it himself, but rejection by John Perry. But they're going to say it was last touched by Perry. Nowhere near the vicinity any South Range Raiders players were. And now some substitutions. Darrell Douglas and Anthony Shefo will fill in for TJ Douglas and Lincoln Thomas. Thomas getting 1 point here as a starter tonight. And now the pass. This is Lewis being guarded by Fenton. Now Moore, the dribble drive, trying to put it up, but it looks like that will be on South Range. The offensive foul will be called against the Raiders, and that will be Moore's first. So 3 fouls already by the Raiders, almost halfway through this first quarter. And the Tigers take it right back. Douglas. Now the elbow, here comes number 4, Alex Henry. Lob pass outside. Decides to feed it back to Henry. Henry trying to put on the moves. Just holding on to it. Anthony Shefo puts it up. He gets fouled and 1. So a nice hard-earned trip to the basket for Anthony Shefo coming in off the bench. And he'll try to connect on the three-point play. Coach Carden wants a timeout. 3:57 to go in the first quarter. It's Howland 7, South Range 3 on YSN. Decent start for the Howland Tigers on top of South Range 7-3. Trying to hit a three-point play is the junior Anthony Shefo, as he was able to get it in the bucket plus the foul. Three-point play is successful, and Howland takes a 5-point lead on South Range halfway through this opening quarter. Now it's Landon Moore taking it. He loses the basketball, picked up by Darrell Douglas. And now the Tigers on the fast break. It is Alex Henry backing off. Henry puts it up from the foul line. That bounces in. Alex Henry getting his first points. And the Tigers hitting double digits 4.5 minutes into this basketball game, as they lead South Range 10-3. And now Nate Lewis trying to drive, and this is considering the fact that Howland and South Range haven't really played much often. South Range at D3 school, Howland sitting around D1 to D2 most years, but now at the right wing. It is Landon Moore, pass. Good ball movement by the Raiders. Trying to get out of there. It was Lewis. And now Moore receives it again. Singleton now receives the scoop. South Range can't find it, and it looks like they got flustered on that offensive set, and that is not what you want here if you're Coach Carden, especially when you're in the varsity ranks and really you can't get your offense set. Just a recipe for disaster. Already in danger of going down by double digits with time running down in this first quarter. And now Alex Henry calls the offensive set. Has the pass outside. Franzalio, Luca Franzalio, number 1, into the game for the first time. Here comes a shot, misses. That is Alex Henry. Not getting it to go. Taken back by Lewis. Now the Raiders trying to respond to this deficit. Putting on the drive again. Was Lewis, good pass here, backdoor cut. They'll draw the foul. That's a blocking foul. It looks like they're going to say the foul was on the floor. And it appears John Perry will be called for that block. And the first foul of the night for the Howland Tigers, as Perry picks up his first. Nate Lewis to inbound. 2:09 to go in the first quarter. Good pass inside. Landon Moore puts it up, and Landon Moore gets it in. And now Landon Moore with 2 points on his account, as South Range playing tough in there and taking advantage off a Howland foul. And that was a tip there by number 2, Tristan Toy of the Raiders. So Alex Henry to inbound off the deflection. He slaps the basketball, and that is up for grabs. Perry just receives it and feeds it inside. That is Alex Henry, and it looks like he got fouled on a count 2. So Henry appears to be heading to the line to shoot a 3-point play. So that is the second and one in this first quarter for the Tigers. And that will be number 2, Tristan Toy, being called with his first personal. Henry with 4 points so far, and that bounces off. And South Range takes it. Here comes the push down the floor. That was Lewis just holding on to the basketball yet again. And now the put up there. Moore, a good rebound, good vertical jump by Darrell Douglas. And now Henry taking it. Pass back outside. And it looks like he walks. That is Anthony Sheffo being called with the walk. And South Range will have this call go their way. 1:19 to go in the opening quarter. Now the Raiders, yet again trailing by 7, looking to get out of the hole. The Tigers have been generating some decent offense, but the Raiders only have 2 field goals, and a steal here by Douglas. Douglas puts it up, and Douglas puts it home. The senior with his first 2 points of the night here on senior nights. And now Howland on top by 9. Douglas trying to get the steal yet again. He's hustling hard, but just out of bounds, they're going to say, on Douglas. So a lucky break for the Raiders with 57.5 seconds to go. And the deficit just getting larger and larger by the minute. Nate Lewis again. Pass to Moore. And Luke Rohan feeds it inside. Good fake, and he's going to get it over. And now, South Range fans very upset here on this side. And now keeping it is Anthony Sheffo. Pass to Chris Fenton. 30 seconds to shoot for the Howland Tigers. And now it's Luca Franzalio taking it. It's very personal. And it looks like out of bounds, last touch by Luke Rohan. In this sequence, the South Range Raiders just trying to get anything they can muster. And now subbing in is number 40, Hudson Moorfield. Darrell Douglas will take a seat for the Howland Tigers. Now the pass, the inbound pass to Alex Henry. Under 20 seconds to shoot here for Howland, leading by 9. Now Henry at the elbow. Good passing, Stephen Boubon. Now it's 2-6 as he puts it up, and he draws the foul. And it looks like Henry will head back to the line, and it appears he will be shooting 3 shots. He was outside the line, and it looks like they're going to say it may be a discussion. One official was thinking the foul was on the floor, but officially, Alex Henry will be shooting 3 shots for the Tigers. So 4.2 seconds to go in this first quarter as he puts in the first one, and now Howland on top by double digits at 15-5. In good fortunate circumstances, it looks like they're going to count that just 2 shots. But here come the Raiders. He puts it up. That is Nate Lewis. And that will do it for this first quarter. Dominated by the Howland Tigers. They lead South Range 16-5. You are watching YSN Live. Start of the second quarter. The Howland Tigers putting up 16 points in the first 8 minutes and holding South Range to just 5. The Tigers lead 16-5 as South Range will get their first possession to start the second quarter. Nate Lewis. The Raiders have only put up 2 field goals so far, but looking to generate some offense. Luke Rohan drains the 3, and now South Range starting off strong to start this second quarter. Rohan just sinks it and buries it. And now the Raiders cut it down to 8 at 16-8. Now the swing, Chris Fenton. Now the feed, Alex Henry puts in the 2, the long 2 by Henry. And now Henry cashing in 8 in this first half. The Tigers back on top by 10 at 18-8. It's Lewis. Back to Lewis. The Raiders so far have 2 3-pointers despite the rough start on offense. Lewis just holding on to the basketball. And it looks like a holding foul will be called. And a holding foul will be called on Alex Henry, his first foul. And the foul will be on the floor. Dylan Turvey to inbound for the Raiders. And now that was a tip, but holding on to it is Landon Moore. And it looks like he will get fouled. And a lot of controversy here in this first half. But still, Landon Moore sending himself to the line. This will be the first trip for South Range and the first foul on Anthony Sheffo. And the first shot goes out for Moore. That's up. That bounces off. He goes 0 of 2 at the line. Rebound by Henry. And a push to Douglas. Douglas puts it up, but that is way too strong and taken back. Rohan with the rebound for South Range. He puts it up, and Rohan with another hard-earned bucket. Rohan here in the second quarter now has 5 points as he's leading the South Range charge. Some good responses here by Rohan, but Howland still on top by 8 yet again. Henry, and now the pass to John Perry outside. Thinking about the 3. He puts it up, no foul, but Perry on the offensive rebound off the miss. He puts it up, that's no good. And taken on the rebound by Nate Lewis. South Range still in this game so far. Here comes Rook Rohan, that swivels off, and a tip there. John Perry won the tip drill, rebound collected by Sheffo, and now taken by Henry. Now at the right wing, it's Fenton. And now Fenton again. He can't get that 3 off. They are quickly hustling the Fenton. And now Fenton open. He takes it and hits it. So Fenton, that is the 3rd time. Not the 2nd time, but the 3rd time as he gets his first 3. You hear the old saying, 3rd time's the charm. But here come the Raiders trailing 21-10 and another turnover. It's a steal by Anthony Sheffo. The jump stop by Sheffo. He gets that in. And Howland building up another run as Sheffo now has 5. Trying to hold on to it, a double team. And it looks like Coach Carden wants a timeout on the floor. 5:06 to go in this first half. Howland on top of South Range, 23-10. A quick 5 points by Howland, and they see themselves on top of South Range by 13 with just over 5 minutes to play in the first half. And the Tigers is really turning it up a notch, especially on offense, really improving from the last 2 games where they struggled intensely on offense. But Landon Moore gets the long pass outside, and now the Raiders trying to get some good ball movement. And now that is Matt Singleton thinking about the 3. It's Turvey at the elbow now. And Singleton backs off. The South Range still trying to get that open seam. They still can't find it. They only have 10 points so far. And now Luke Rohan will draw the foul. And Rohan will now inbound as this will be the first foul on number 3, Chris Fenton. Now he lob passes it on the inbound. And now here comes the drive. And that's a swat. And that will be a foul on John Perry. 4:16 to go in this first half. And now Luke Rohan will draw himself to the foul line to shoot a pair. Second foul on Perry. And that goes in. And South Range cutting into the deficit. These fans here for South Range really rowdy in the first half. They believe they wanted some fouls to go their way, but that goes off. 1 of 2 at the line for Rohan. Alex Henry now taking it for the Tigers. He's trying to drive. Now he kicks it outside. Chris Fenton takes the 3. That bounces off, and now South Range trying to get some momentum. It's slowly heading their way, but still, they need to generate this offense. And it's Landon Moore trying to drive. Kicks it outside. Dylan Turvey takes a 3, and that's it. So, good run here for South Range so far. It's only 4 points, but still, Dylan Turvey sinking South Range's third 3 here in this first half. They cut it back down to 9. Now John Perry. A swing. Good ball movement by the Tigers. And receiving it is Sheffo. Henry takes it from the corner, and that bounces off. That's a tip. And that is a tip again, but once again, South Range wins. So now the Raiders have some momentum on their side. That's up. And another trip to the foul line. We go. Landon Moore will now shoot for the second time in the first half. 3:05 to go. And now the second foul on Anthony Sheffo. Bounces off. So now starting 0 of 3 at the line. And South Range overall just 1 of 5. An extremely frustrating sequence at the line. That's up. And that does go in. So they cut it back down to 8 in a mini 5-0 run by the Raiders. But the Tigers are looking to turn on the Jets yet again in the last 3 minutes of the half. Henry feeds it to Fenton. And Franzilio and the Tigers pick it up a notch again. Franzilio thinking about it. And now the long pass again. Anthony Sheffo hits the 3. Anthony Sheffo, something that the Tigers want and need, someone that they need. Sheffo now having 8 points in the first half. The Tigers back on top by double digits at 26-15. And the Raiders trying to turn on the Jets. Matt Singleton swatted away, but it looks like a foul going to be called on Darrell Douglas. So once again, the Tigers just can't get out of their own way in the second quarter. The Tigers at the limit, as that will be Douglas's first. And now Matt Singleton trying to shoot 2 foul shots. The first one goes out. And the woes continue from the charity stripe for the Raiders. They are now 2 of 7. Up, that's good. So once again, the pattern. The first shot goes out, the second one goes in. And South Range cuts it back down to 10, but they need way more than just foul shots to get back in this one. Now the top of the key is Franzilio. Under 2 minutes to go in the half. Henry trying to drive, puts it up. That bounces off for Henry. And once again, the Tigers going a little stale on offense. They're trying to get the transition game going. Darrell Douglas with the steal, though. And just keeping it in play is Luca Franzilio. And that is a tip. And swatted away by Landon Moore. And that is a denial, as that will be out of bounds. No foul from Alex Henry either. So a nice save coming in at the last second. And they'll settle for the South Range offense and not the bucket, but Landon Moore trying to get it out. It's Lewis. And Moore takes the three. That's in. Landon Moore drains the triple. 26-19, it's your score with just over a minute to play first half. 4 threes in the first half for South Range. And the Tigers trying to respond yet again. Keeping it, the bailout by Sheffo. Anthony Sheffo puts it up, that's in. As the Tigers back on top by 9, Sheffo now hitting double figures. He's at 10 points. The drive by Matt Singleton. Singleton trying to move around. Good spin, and that's up. That's a tip there, out of bounds. Last touch by number 40, Hudson Moorfield. And it looks like John Perry getting ready to sub in for the Tigers. Subbing in for the Raiders is Gavin Nagy, number 11. The clock now reads 42.8 seconds. What has been a first half controlled by Howland, but still, they have had their share of downs along the way, including just not getting the offense extremely perfect. The offense hasn't been too pretty, but still, they have been able to put up 28 points so far. Sheffo passes it to Luca Franzalio. And now it's John Perry. That's a tip. And they're gonna say it was not an over and back, no tip. And it looks like Sheffo will draw the foul on number 10, Logan Butcher. But now 10.5 seconds to go. That is actually the first foul in this second quarter for South Range. So Howland will take it out from the sideline. What has been a rowdy first half. The South Range still playing hard, being able to score 14 points in the second quarter. Now it's under 10 seconds. Henry will get fouled once again by Butcher. As 6.4 seconds now to go in the half. And it looks like South Range just trying to hold them off the offensive end. He feeds it to Perry. Perry, that's a denial. And it looks like a foul going to be called that stops the clock at 4.6 seconds. John Perry now at the charity stripe for the first time tonight. That will be the first foul on Hudson Moorfield. And Coach Boubon knows it's been a roller coaster of a first half, but he can have a sigh of relief if the Tigers go into the break up by double digits. Now some substitutions coming in for the Raiders. Looking for a last shot themselves. That's up. That's off. Goes 0-2 at the line. And now the Raiders push it. Now it's the 1. He has to put it up. That is Luke Rohan. Bounces off. But South Range being able to put up 14 points in the second quarter. And they are still in the game. But Howland has been able to put up at least some offense. 28 points from the Tigers in the first 16 minutes. So, end of the first half. It is Howland 28 and South Range 19. And we'll be back for the second half after these messages on YSN Live. Already taken care of in just a matter of about 5 or 10 seconds. But, as I was talking about, it wasn't the prettiest offense in the first half for the Tigers, but still they were able to put up 28 points on the Raiders. The Raiders did have a nice attack, sinking 4 threes in the first half. But the Tigers get the ball to start the second half as Anthony Sheffo. He leads all scorers with 10, taking it. And now Alex Henry taking it for the Tigers. Now Chris Fenton back outside is Sheffo. And the bounce pass, John Perry puts it in. And Howland on top by double digits yet again. John Perry now with 6 points on the night. The senior here on senior night. Now the Raiders falling behind. This is Landon Moore. He had 6 points in the first 16 minutes. Gives it off to Singleton. Now back to Moore. Moore trying to get it going. It looks like he will draw the foul, as too many men around the foul line for the Tigers. And it looks like Perry will be called with his third foul. So Nate Lewis to inbound for the Raiders. Foul was on the floor. He feeds it to Luke Rohan. And now he takes a three. That is Dylan Turvey. It bounces off. And Chris Fenton letting it go out of bounds wisely. And it will be a missed shot and a missed possession for South Range. The Raiders playing tough, but coming in against the likes of a D2, D1 school like Howland. They have their work cut out for them. But the Tigers take it back on offense. This is Alex Henry. Jump stop and a foul. So Alex Henry, the senior, will head to the charity stripe, where he is 2 of 3 so far. He has 8 points on the night, as that will be the second foul on Landon Moore. So what's important here for Howland, just try to keep sinking away as that goes in for Alex Henry. Howland on top now by 12 points, bringing it up to their largest lead of the night. That's off. So Howland having their struggles at the line, just 50%. They are 5 of 10 from the stripe. Turvey feeds it inside to Moore. Moore having to get out of there. He was trapped, and he takes a three. That is Matt Singleton. Bounces off the tip, and Turvey trying to get the offensive board, but taken back by Luke Rohan. And a little too hot to handle for Moore, as Moore moving all around, but that was an errant pass on Rohan's part. The Tigers back on offense. A minute and a half gone by in the second half. They're outscoring South Range so far, 3-0 to start the third quarter. It's Chris Fenton. Howland trying to get the flex offense going. It's a flex offense that utilizes screens. You get some off-ball screens as well, not just ball screens. Playing a balanced attack, and it looks like a foul will be called on the floor yet again. Perry was trying to receive that pass, but he was tripped up a little by a Raider, as that will be the first foul on number 5, Matt Singleton. Henry inbounds it here. Good catch by Perry, and that was between the legs. And Chris Fenton, the pass, now to Sheffo. And it looks like a scruffle and a tussle. John Perry will be called for the offensive foul. So Perry now going to be in foul trouble, as he is at 4. So the senior not having the best of nights in a night, on a night that is supposed to be a cherishable one and a bittersweet one. But now in foul trouble with 5:57 to go in the third quarter. He now has to sit on the bench. And that's Luke Rohan. That's no good, and a rebound by Chris Fenton. And now here comes the fast break by the Tigers. Yet again, and it's TJ Douglas. He couldn't get it to go. But an offensive rebound by Anthony Sheffa. Once again a rejection, this time by Moore. But the Tigers get it right back. It's Alex Henry putting up the triple. He gets it in. So Alex Henry now going off for 12 points tonight. And the Tigers on top by 15. At the top of the key, Lewis gives it off to Moore. And the pass just caught. And the Raiders falling behind. They still haven't scored a point yet. Almost 3 minutes into this third quarter. It looks like that will be on South Range, as that will be the 5-second violation on the Raiders. And the Tigers, once again, getting an opportunity, building on their total, scoring 6 points so far. The perfect scenario for the Tigers, but losing the ball as Henry, and stolen away by Turvey. Turvey puts it up. That bounces off, up for grabs. And now here comes a transition game by the Tigers. It's Henry taking it to the rack. Henry now going off for 14 points. He is on a roll with 6 third-quarter points. And now South Range sending in some subs. They trail by 17, and a steal by Darrell Douglas. So things just falling apart for the Raiders. Here comes the three. That's off, and they let it go out of bounds. So you're thinking about the Tigers now starting this third quarter on an 8-0 run. And now South Range looks like they will send in the reserves, some of the reserves. You see number 1, Jimmy Powell, in the game for the Raiders. Number 40, Hudson Moorfield. Number 10, Logan Butcher. Number 2, Tristan Toy. So they are really going with a totally different lineup here. And Coach Carden really not pleased with the start in the second half of his starters. Now the pass at the top of the key. Gavin Nagy trying to hold on to it. He loses it for a second. Logan Butcher trying to get it back for the Raiders. It will stay here on this side of the floor. But the reserves, Coach Carden's thinking in his mind, maybe sending some guys who want to play hard. Here comes the three-point shot, and that's off. And that is a scruffle for the basketball. Trying to get it here is Butcher, and Butcher trying to get out of there. Good save. Nagy, ball movement by the Raiders. And it looks like a walk going to be called on Jimmy Powell. So you see some inexperience in these younger guys. And it looks like South Range just really falling apart. You see number 4, Nate Lewis, heading back near the locker room, heading back to the bench. Just not the chemistry on sync to start this third quarter. Lincoln Thomas for 3, and that swivels out. The fans were really excited. He wanted him to hit that 3. But here come the Raiders back again. Takes the 3. That's it. Number 11, Gavin Nagy, cuts it back down to a 14-point game. And he now gets his first points of the night. Under 3.5 to go in the third. 36-22 is your score. Chris Fenton losing the basketball, and the Raiders will get it back. Now the Raiders have a chance yet again to crack in at the deficit. And it's Jimmy Powell. Coach Carden really wants his guys to get the offense going, but a turnover. This is Alex Henry. Over the back pass, trying to get it in on the jam, but that was Darrell Douglas with a miss. And here comes Gavin Nagy again. That bounces off, and the tip, and taken back by Nagy. Nagy, that's tipped again. And a tip drill and a tip battle, as that will be on Howland. You can't really blame the younger guys here for South Range, wanting to play hard out on the floor. The foul will be on Jimmy Powell, his first. Coach Dan Bubon wants a timeout with 2:53 to go in the third quarter. And Coach Carden kind of catching Coach Dan Bubon off guard, but, you know, Coach Dan Bubon really experienced in the realm of basketball, and he knows how to adjust to these lineups. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this message from Joe Dickey. We're back here in the third quarter with 2:53 remaining. And the Howland Tigers starting the third quarter off with an 8-0 run on South Range. But now the Raiders have the reserves in, and Coach Patrick Carden just having his younger guys do the work. And they are also drawing fouls as well, as Hudson Moorfield will send himself to the foul line. But South Range trying to get back on track from the strike. They are just 3 of 8 so far. That's up, and that bounces in. So Hudson Moorfield scores his first point. And the Raiders cut it back down to 13. Coming into this third quarter down 9, but Howland really opened it up a notch, and he sinks both. Howland leading by as much as 17 in the third, but that will be a foul on Gavin Nagy. And Howland will send in 3 subs of their own. Stephen Bubon, TJ Douglas, and Anthony Scheffo will sub in for the Tigers. And it's number 1, Luca Franzalio, to inbound. 3 guys up front for the Raiders. He slaps the basketball. And now Alex Henry trying to break this kind of press that South Range is putting on. And he feeds it outside. That is Anthony Sheffo. Feeds it to Luca Franzalio. Luca Franzalio gets fouled. And Franzalio will head to the charity stripe for the Tigers. You're now looking at Luca Franzalio drawing the second foul on Gavin Nagy. He will be shooting 2. It's up, bounces off. So Howland now just 5 of 11 from the line. And that's going to be a shot that bounces in for Franzalio. Lead back up to 13 for the Tigers of Howland, and the Raiders take it back on offense. This is number 2, Tristan Toy. The Raiders trying to get some offense again. 2.5 minutes to go in the quarter. This is Logan Butcher. That's up and in on the layup. So South Range responding as Butcher gets his first 2 points. Stephen Boubon now driving down the middle for the Tigers. He loses it in a turnover, so South Range not out of this game yet. They are not done. This is Gavin Nagy trying to get it off to Butcher, and it looks like out of bounds on Howland. So winning these 50-50 balls, that's going to be something that South Range will definitely want in their favor. Passes it inside, puts it up. Tristan Toy will head to the foul line. Now South Range overall, for the second straight quarter, able to get Howland at the limit. 3rd foul on Anthony Sheffo, and Tristan Toy will be shooting 2. That's up and out. And coming in is Chris Fenton for the Howland Tigers. South Range putting up what is now a 7-1 run. That goes in. So he is 1 of 2 at the line, and the Raiders cut it back down to 10. And Alex Henry gets the pass off to Fenton. Chris Fenton will walk. You know from the sound of that whistle that it wasn't going to go pretty for Chris Fenton. And Coach Boubon really frustrated with his team so far. And a good save. He crashes into the stands. And now the Raiders take it back on offense. That's up and out. That's the tip in by Logan Butcher. And we have ourselves a game. Ridiculous. And 37-29, Logan Butcher has given South Range hope. 1:39 to go in the period. They cut it down to 8. We'll be back here on YSA. South Range now putting up a 10-1 run thanks to their reserves coming in off the bench. They are really hustling. The starters still sitting out there on the bench as the reserves giving the South Range faithful hope with 1:39 to go in the 3rd quarter. Trailing by as much as 17, they now see themselves down 8. He gets it outside. And now this is number 2, TJ Douglas. He puts it up. That bounces off. And South Range still hustling hard. The rebound by Logan Butcher. And now the pass. Good pass outside. Gavin Nagy. Now Tristan Toy. Bounces off and a tip drill again. Taken by Alex Henry. And now looks like number 2, TJ Douglas will draw this foul. It appears South Range has hit the limit in this 3rd quarter. 1:09 to go in the period. And now TJ Douglas sending himself to the foul line. He will shoot 2 shots. That's up and in. And during the timeout, Coach Dan Boubon understandably upset with his team, and how they were playing, giving up that run, but trying to get themselves back on track as Douglas goes 2-2 at the line. Howland back on top by double digits, but the Raiders still driving hard. It's number 2, Tristan Toy. Tristan Toy gets it in. He now has 3 points. So the Raiders trying to draw it here. As the clock stops at 55.6 seconds, it's swallowed away. You see the energy, a newfound energy in the second half for the Raiders. As he gets it outside. And it's Luca Franzalio. The jump stop, he puts it up and in! Alex Henry. The unthinkable here for the senior. And it looks like he will draw his second and one of the night. This will be the third foul on Gavin Nagy. And he puts it up. That goes in. The three-point play successful, and Howland back on top by 11. They inbound it to Logan Butcher. Fenton stays off. And Howland trying to play some tough defense as the clock now reaches 30 to go in this third quarter. The drive, kicks it out. Gavin Nagy bounces off, and an offensive rebound. Looks like that was number 1, Jimmy Powell, in another fight for it, and Howland wins it. They avoid the jump ball, and Franzalio passes it to Chris Fenton, and another foul coming in. Another hard foul that stops the clock at 11.1 seconds. Fenton will be shooting too, and now it's just been all about foul shots here in the third quarter. These 2 shots by Chris Fenton will make it 17 attempts on the night for the Howland Tigers. It looks like Coach Carden getting ready to send back in his starting lineup. That bounces off for Chris Fenton. The Tigers now 9 of 16 at the line. Now Coach Boubon having to adjust yet again as the starters come back into the game. It was a wonderful sequence for the Raiders, causing everyone fits during that run in the third quarter. That goes in. At South Range, they have 11 seconds to shoot. And no foul, they get it off. It's 5 seconds to go. Luke Rohan trying to get something. The clock's now at 1, he puts it up himself, that bounces off. And Rohan misses yet another shot at the buzzer. But South Range playing hard in the third quarter, especially with those reserves. But Howland still on top by double digits, thanks to some adjustments being made. We'll go to the fourth quarter after these messages on YSN. And we're back here to start the fourth quarter on YSN. Hold on, the buzzer sounds, trying to reset the game clock to 8 minutes. And the 8 minutes are there. But what was a wild third quarter, to say the least. South Range was down by as much as 17. Howland started the third quarter with an 8-0 run. Well, Coach Patrick Carden doing what you would least expect. The first-year head coach sending in his bench. And the team really exploded from there with a 10-1 run. But Howland was able to close out the third quarter with Coach Dan Boubon kind of laying into them a little bit with that run, trying to match up to the intensity. What has been a season that has been giving Coach Dan Boubon a lot of heart attacks, especially playing in 2 overtime games, losing some tough conference games along the way, blowing 2 second halves to Canfield, and now here comes the three-point shot that's up and out for number 21, Michael Garwacki. And the Tigers take it back, trying to close out this game, their final regular season home game, as it's senior night. They're trying to send their 6 seniors out with a bang. It's Anthony Sheffo. Now back to Sheffo. At the top of the key, Alex Henry puts it up, and that is going to be off, and a foul will be called toward the Howland Tigers. So let's look at the Howland stat total. 17 points from Alex Henry as he exploded for 9 third-quarter points and 10 points from Anthony Sheffo, all of them coming in the first half, but that will be the fourth on Sheffo, so 2 players in foul trouble. What was huge for South Range, they were able to get John Perry, number 34, out. He is still out on the bench with those 4 fouls, and that is a miss. Good defense by Howland. And now Henry taking it back, trying to get off of Moore. Good spin. Here comes the three-point shot, up and out from TJ Douglas. That is the tip there, and Franzalio having to get on the ground, but taken by Luke Rohan. Rohan driving down, and it looks like that will be a foul heading towards South Range. So both sides have gotten their fair share of offensive fouls on the night. 6:46 to go, and that will be the second on Rohan. So Franzalio to inbound for the Tigers. And now the Raiders, time running down. They need that magic that they are able to pick up in the third quarter. Now it's Chris Fenton for the Tigers. Trying to work off of Matt Singleton. A double team by South Range. They kick it out. Here comes the three that was blocked by Rohan. Franzalio put it up, but Rohan with a superb block. And another foul will be called, this time on the Tigers, as that will be the push on Fenton, his second. Once again, both teams being chippy at each other. The last 2 quarters, Howland hit the limit and trying to avoid that here in this fourth quarter. And a timeout called on the floor with 6:20 to go. It is still Howland 43, South Range 31. And you see the student section having their phones out, lighting up the room as they are playing Party in the USA in the background. As we have 6:20 to go in this basketball game. And South Range trying to get the comeback going, trailing by 12. The score is Howland 43, South Range 31. Luke Rohan passes it off, and now Landon Moore. Outside, now he passes to the right wing. It's Moore taking the three. It's up and in. The lead back down to at 9. Landon Moore sinking his second triple. So Howland now having to respond yet again. South Range overall has hit 6 3-pointers on the night. Luca Franzalio trying to get it out, but a steal. Landon Moore. And South Range trying to put on another run. It's Moore, and it looks like another foul will be called on Howland. Once again, the fouls piling up for the Tigers. And that will be the third foul on Fenton. So now everybody just getting into foul trouble. You see John Perry back out there on the floor with 4 fouls. So having to play very disciplined in the final 5.5 minutes. Here comes the three. Up and out. Perry trying to grab it, but it's almost an offensive rebound as a jump ball will be called, heading back to the Tigers just barely. So the Tigers just trying to get a huge sigh of relief. And now, number 24, Anthony Sheffo, to fill in for Howland. Sheffo also has 4 fouls, so 2 players in foul trouble out there on the floor right now. Both Perry and Sheffo. Henry taking it, leading all scorers with 17. And another steal by Moore. Moore trying to take it. It's up and in. So Moore leading the comeback charge for the Raiders. The lead is back down to 7. So they are starting off this third quarter with what is now 5 unanswered points this fourth quarter. But the pass to Sheffo. Sheffo scoops it back outside. And good catch by Perry. And a drive by Sheffo. Kicks it outside to Fenton. Fenton takes the three. That bounces off. Fenton gets it back on the offensive end. And Sheffo, the Tigers just trying to respond. And that's up on the floater. That is TJ Douglas. He now has 4 points. And the Tigers back on top by 9. The spin. And getting fouled is Landon Moore. And Moore back at the charity stripe for the 3rd time tonight, but just 1 of 4 from the line. And Anthony Sheffo fouls out of this ball game as he has picked up his 5th. But Moore trying to get back in the driver's seat. These 2 shots will make it a combined 31 foul shot attempts from both teams. That is up and out. Howland was getting ready to get that rebound, but no one-on-ones anymore. It's up, that's in. The lead back down to 8. Now Landon Moore with 12 points. Landon Moore in double figures for the Raiders. Over 4 minutes to play. Now Alex Henry. He's driving down the lane. He kicks it outside. It's Luca Franzalio. And Henry back at it. Back to Franzalio. Feed to Perry. And Perry trying to get out of there. And that's a tip. And that is the lob pass to Fenton. And that's a tip. And it looks like that will be a foul. 3:49 to play, and that will be the 3rd foul on at number 20, Luke Rohan.
Dude, he was fucking holding him.
And we're back here. And now the long pass outside. He puts it up. That's a tip. And putting it up is number 1, Luca Franzalio, as he will head to the line. Franzalio with his 2nd trip to the foul line, as that will be the 3rd foul on at number 2, Tristan Toy. That's up, that's in. Lead back up to 9. As once again, it's just wild and wild. It's up and out. So once again, shots falling in and out, in and out. 3.5 to play. Howland leading by 9 on South Range. Scoop here. And now the tip. Now John Perry holds on to it. It's Fenton driving down the lane. And now it's Alex Henry. A long pass outside. Now back to Fenton. As Fenton falling on the ground. And South Range will have their 4th foul. And that will be the 4th foul on number 2, Tristan Toy. And Alex Henry trying to command the offense. Just trying to get guys in position. And it looks like a walk here by Perry. And once again, Howland just can't get out of their own way. That will be the violation. Going to be called on Perry. It's number 4, Nate Lewis. Now the scoop to Landon Moore. Moore will be called with a walk. So back-to-back travels, and now 2:50 to go in this basketball game. And now it's number 4, Alex Henry. Fans have been rowdy all night long. High emotions. And it looks like South Range has hit the limit. So, big win here for Howland, as Alex Henry will send himself to the line yet again. It's up and in. 18 points now for the senior, Alex Henry. That bounces off. And taken by number 4, Nate Lewis. 2.5 minutes to play, and Howland on top by 10. And the drive. And that's a steal by Chris Fenton. It's Alex Henry. The long pass outside and trying to play hot potato. Henry backing off. And the Tigers looking to take control over the last 2 minutes of action and try to get back to 500 on the year. The feed here, TJ Douglas gets the friendly bounce in, and TJ Douglas now with 6 points. Under 2 minutes to play, and the Tigers on top by 12. And a timeout called here on the floor. You will step aside. 1:50 to play. Howland 49, South Range 37. 49-37, the Howland Tigers lead. Just under 2 minutes to play in the very crucial game against the South Range Raiders. The 12-5 Raiders coming into Howland, giving it all they could. And that's going to be a miss here by Luke Rohan, out of bounds on the Raiders. And 1:35 to play as Luca Franzelio to inbound. Is Alex Henry taking it for the Tigers, leading all scorers with 18. And John Perry, pass back to Henry, and Henry will draw the foul. The shot doesn't go in as it was before the shot went up. So Alex Henry once again at the charity stripe. These 2 shots will make it 10 attempts now for the senior. 5 of 8 so far, and that will be the 4th foul on Luke Rohan. So it's now South Range, as that goes in, having 2 players in foul trouble themselves. 50-37 is your score. It's up. That's good. Make it now 20 points for Alex Henry in senior night. No better way than to go out on your own home floor. But Landon Moore misses the 3 and a rebound by John Perry. Still playing hard out there, and it looks like that will be Perry going to foul out. So 2 players now fouling out for the Tigers. And number 34, John Perry, ends his senior night with 6 points. But now number 20, Luke Rohan, back at the line. And the 2 shots coming up now for Rohan. That's up and out. Once again, the Tigers getting ready to grab the rebound. And Rohan shooting his second. That bounces in. So 1:13 to play. South Range able to cut it down to 13 points. But a game that has been heart-wrenching. A lot of controversy. A lot of controversy. And now the pass. Lincoln Thomas thinking about a shot, but he is closed off. And now getting fouled is Henry again. It's Alex Henry. In the last minutes, sending himself to the line when it needed. You need your foul shooter. Howland now going to be shooting 25 attempts from the line. The foul's just piling up now for the Raiders. It's up. That's it. That's now 8 makes from the stripe. That's good. 22 points now for Henry. And the Tigers on top by 15. The drive down the middle. He puts it up. That is Nate Lewis getting it to go. And a quick timeout called on the floor. And we will take our last break here on YSN Live with a score, Howland 53, South Range 40. Time running down here for the Raiders. But once again, playing hard. They are able to get a bucket. Nate Lewis putting it in the hole. And now the pass to Alex Henry. Henry, his 22 points have been able to help him shine. And now taken now by number 25, Jason Vorshak. Vorshak trying to get the offensive rebound off the miss. And a jump ball will be called. As some substitutions coming in for the Raiders. 40 seconds left in this game. And the student section here for Howland. Fired up. As the Tigers will head to 10-10 with the victory. That's up, that's off. The tip there, Henry keeping it in play for the time being. But once again, the officials have their work cut out for them. And South Range has a player in foul trouble again. 3 players now with 4 fouls for the Raiders. This will be the 4th foul now on Gavin Nagy. And now Alex Henry. It's up and out. Most of the foul shots in the second half have been coming from Henry. But now the reserves coming back in for the Raiders. That's up, that bounces off. Now the Raiders take it back under 30 seconds. Scoop it off at the top of the key. He drives. That is Logan Butcher. And that's a tip again. Tip drills coming up all night. Lincoln Thomas, the touchdown pass to Darrell Douglas. Darrell Douglas trying to get the jam again. Oh my. But here come the Raiders. One last chance. This is number 22 here for the Raiders. Bow the shot from the corner goes in. As Henry being pushed to the ground. Looks like getting the shot off was Michael Garaki. The shot does count. Garaki was able to sink it in. 4 seconds left on the clock. And now South Range getting yet another foul maybe. But here comes a huge discussion. It's going to determine whether or not we'll take the 3 off the board. I believe we will take the 3 off the board. So now Alex Henry back at it. He'll give himself a well-earned night's rest. That's up, bounces off. And now subbing it is number 23. Carter Jones filling in for Darrell Douglas. But probably just one more time, South Range can put it up. Score reads 53-43, but it's actually 53-40. He misses it again, and South Range one more chance, and that will do it. They tried, and they tried, but the Tigers come up victorious. Final score, 53-40, as the Howland Tigers improve to 10-10 on the year. And our YSN Live player of the game is Alex Henry with his 22 points. And the Tigers had some huge scares that really gave them heart attacks on the floor. But senior night is victorious on the floor for the Howland Tigers boys team. And 2 more regular season games on the road at Niles McKinley, then at Ursuline. But as for South Range, they played hard. The reserves coming in having a huge run down the stretch. But now 3 more games left in the regular season for the Raiders at Louisville, at home against Struthers, and at Springfield.